Some current ANC leaders lack ideological depth and moral integrity that requires for this new phase of struggle. That is required for this new phase of struggle. Even worse, some have normalized corruption, treated it as a feature, not a threat to governance. This undermines the moral authority of the movement. It distances the ANC from the masses it has formed to serve. For too long, we have assumed that everyone within the ANC shares the core values. For too long, we have assumed that everyone within the ANC shares the core values. The decline of the ANC is a total suspension of the revolution in areas where we're totally out of power. Because our program of action is the National Democratic Revolution. And the ANC has identified the state as a vehicle to advance that revolution. Now the question is, in areas where the ANC is not the drivers of the state, is the revolution not suspended in those areas? Which is the program that we've agreed upon, which is the National Democratic Revolution. The voters have communicated that dissatisfaction with the slow pace of transformation, prosperous democracy, non-sexist and non-racial society, which is better for all, as outlined in the NTR. If we are not vigilant and intentional, our NTR, if we are not vigilant and intentional, our proud liberation movement will be liquidated. Our proud liberation movement will be liquidated into an historic by counter-revolution forces. As the president of the Youth League, I must be frank. We need a National Executive Committee that has a revolutionary consciousness. We must have a political clarity to distinguish between a friend and an enemy, between a genuine revolutionary and an opportunist. Mainly because opportunists want to use the ANC for personal gain. The government of national unity has unmasked many. It has revealed who is truly rooted in revolutionary principles and who is here only for the spoils of offices. The MK party and the EFF alliances has pushed us into a new hostile terrain, while the DA parades itself as a so-called strategic partners as a tool to weaken our movement from within. Wake up, comrades. Wake up. This is the political reality before us. The Youth League must rise to the challenge, not as a passive observer, but as a militant vanguard, jealously safeguarding the ANC historic mission. Jealously safeguarding the ANC historic mission. The ANC Youth League must reject politics of deferral. We must insist on economic injustice now, not as a slogan, but as a material program. The land issue is at the center of our program. The nationalization of key sectors is on the center of our program. The removal of youth unemployment through state-led job guarantees is on the center of our program. The dismantling of the lead capture of both the party and our economy is at the center of our program. This task of our generation is to complete the National Democratic Revolution by grounding it as a class struggle, not a lead compromise. The road ahead demands courage, political clarity, and revolutionary honesty. We must either radicalize the state in the interest of the people or be failures. Radicalize the state in the interest of the people or be failures. We're the only ones, Comrade Zaman, who apologize for deploying comrades of the ANC to advance your own program. We're the only revolutionary party who apologize for deploying your own people to advance your program. How do you expect people who are anti the NTR to advance the NTR? When you deploy a DG who has not went through the OR Tambo school leadership, how do you expect a DG who believes in DA policies to advance ANC policies? Why are we neutral? Why are we passive? The masses of our people of South Africa gave us a political responsibility and supported our program of the NTR. They never said become neutral. They said change our lives as they promised with the NTR. Move us to the National Democratic Society. Deploy your best who are conscientized, who understand the program of action of the NTR to lead us moving forward. Some current ANC leaders lack ideological depth and moral integrity that requires for this new phase of struggle. That is required for this new phase of struggle. Even worse, some have normalized corruption, treated it as a feature, not a threat to governance. This undermines the moral authority of the movement. It distances the ANC from the masses it has formed to serve. For too long, we have assumed that everyone within the ANC shares the core values. For too long, we have assumed that everyone within the ANC shares the core values. This assumption is both dangerous and naive. This assumption, Comrade Lufefe, is very dangerous and naive. It has allowed opportunism, careerism, and counter-revolutionaries to operate within our ranks. For too long, we have assumed that everyone within the ANC shares the same core values. This assumption is both dangerous and naive. It has allowed opportunism, careerism, counter-revolutionaries to operate within our ranks, contributing directly to the erosion of public trust. Contributing directly to the erosion of public trust. I'm the one who needs water, not Dooms. Oh. Cheers. Cheers. As the ANC Youth League, we have consistently raised warnings, including ahead of the recent national elections, that the persistence of this status quo would have devastating consequences. Our warnings were ignored. The election results confirmed our worst fears. Despite the recent setback and ongoing issues within the broader liberation movement, our commitment is unshaken. This is not the time for complacency. This is the time for urgent introspection, ideological renewal, and election of leadership collective that embodies the ANC foundation, the ANC founding mission to serve the people and to advance the struggle for economic liberation. The emergence of counter-revolution formations like the so-called Mkhonto weSisu represent a desperate bid for relevancy by expelled elements who no longer find legitimacy within the ANC. These individuals have not only stolen our name and symbol, but now attempt to exploit ethnic nationalism and tribal identity to divide our people. Leo counter-revolution is mobilizing, utilizing, ethnic nationalism, tribal identity to divide our people. These political thieves masquerading as a revolution. These are the very same actors who presided over the state capture, who cut out public institutions, who now want to rewrite history to cleanse their hands. But the people know South Africans will not forget who betrayed them. At the hour of need, who stood firm to defend the democratic values. The ANC has always had the capacity for self-correction. The ANC youth will be its shaping instrument in this process. The ANC has always had capacity for self-correction. And the ANC Youth League will be its sharpest instrument in that process. The ANC Youth League will be its sharpest instrument in that process. I want to make that emphasis. We will not retreat from our responsibility. We will speak the truth to power, even when power wears familiar colors. We will speak the truth to power, even when power wears familiar colors. Even if you wear black, green, and gold t-shirts like us, when you are not us, we will tell you are not us. We will fight to ensure that economic freedom is not reduced to hollow phrases, but becomes a lived reality of millions. We owe this to the poor and the working class to end the problems we're faced with. And to end and fight this battle for generations to come. The other issues, provinces, if you allow me, is your provincial demands. I'm going to skip them. But you will have them as documents because we've requested, Comrade Lulu, for the first time that provinces must send their localized demands of their politics of their own province. And we put them also in the political report. Gauteng submitted, Eastern Cape submitted, KZN submitted, Mpumalanga submitted, Limpopo submitted, Western Cape submitted.